the toiletries. How do you handle toiletries on the road?
Well, and actually, and you were going to ask me about that. I said, you know how to make a list sometime, and then I forgot to make a list. But I actually did just recently repack my toiletry bag because, you know, you have to have a toiletry bag in your closet ready to go. See, that's why you have to have two of everything, because you have one of each toiletry. For example, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your deodorant, your Axe spray or cologne or whatever, your hair dryer, your comb or brush, your daily medications, your lotions and potions and shave cream and razor. And hair sideburn trimmers and fingernail clippers. You have to have a set in your bathroom, but instead of trying to pack all of that, which is very time consuming every time you leave, you keep a toiletry bag in the closet that has a second item of those. So you just pick the bag up and go. You're always packed.
You have a go bag of toiletries.
Well, of course, because that way, and then it saves you time. Imagine how much time it saves you unpacking when you come back from your trip, when you just put the bag in the closet and you've already got your stuff laid out in your bathroom in the normal order in which you have it. And then also, besides the stuff I just mentioned, in the toiletry bag to go, you've got, for example, Band-Aids of various sizes, and you've got Q-tips. And you've not only got the fingernail clippers, but you have the small scissors in case you need to trim your eyebrows or nose hairs or whatever. You got the pointed ones there. And then also you have extra razor blades in case you need, the cartridges in case you need to switch. And then you've got a small, tiny eyeglass case or eyeglass kit case where you've got the little tiny screwdriver that, matches the screws on your eyeglasses, and a little magnifying glass. And you got some tape of various kinds. You got to have a 10-foot extension cord, because sometimes these hotels are laid out improperly or inconveniently to your modern conveniences, because you've also got an alarm clock, because I don't trust hotel alarm clocks. Sometimes you can never AM and PM yourself with my clock. The AM PM rip.
No.
That's when you set the alarm for 8 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. and miss your flight. At least that's what you tell the booker trying to get out of the fine or the heat or whatever when you missed your flight. You AM PM'd yourself. Well, I carry my own clock that I'm familiar with. And also there's a variety of medicines. There's a flu medicine, both Dayquil and NyQuil. You don't want to take the NyQuil during the day because it'll make you sleepy. There's also anti-diarrheal medicine, because you never can tell. There's also just regular allergy medicine for nasal congestion. There's also Lubriderm. There's also what's the Neosporin, the ointment that you would put on an injury. And there's also, occasionally some other type of medicine. If, for example, the gout, I got gout one time. So I've got gout medicine in that bag just in case. You never know when you're going to get got by gout. Now, also, there's other – wait, how much time you got? I mean, you need these things, for heaven's sake, if you're going to be traveling around.
I almost have to stop you because there's a few things I have to put a little bit of a focus on. So you get to a hotel room and you go and you put your bags down, you sit down in the bed.
Yes.
Do you unplug their alarm clock and plug in your own, or do you put yours on top of theirs? Or how exactly do you set up your own alarm clock in the hotel room?
Well, no, I just put it – well, and see, sometimes it's on the wrong side also, and then that gets into the problem of me being able to see it when I open my eyes, because if the clock is on the wrong side of the bed and I can't see it, and then I have to sit up and look to see what time it is in the middle of the night, and then I wake myself up, and that prevents me from getting a good night's sleep. Because if I just open my eyes, okay, it's 3:22, I'm fine. I can go back to sleep. So I always have it right where I can see it, right next to the bed. Sometimes I unplug the clock. Sometimes I just set it over to the side. Sometimes it's over there on the other side where it doesn't bother me at all. Because then you've got to unplug the phone, because those phones are big as fucking attaché cases. That they've got these big desktop phones, and the only time you're ever going to use it is call room service, right? So I get that fucking thing out of the way. And also what I do is I go around the room, and all the little notices, the little cards, the little tabs, the little things that remind you that it's a hotel, I scoop all those up and I throw them in the fucking drawer with the Gideon Bible. anything that tells you it's a hotel, and then I put my stuff out in various places, and I unpack in order. When I come in, if I've got a full complement of things, that means my suit bag is over my left shoulder, and I'm wheeling the 40-gallon ice chest that has wheels on it that also serves as my luggage cart for my suitcase and my laptop computer and my small cooler that I take into shows with me, which is a small handheld and not the big giant wheelie cooler. And I set everything down. Then I put the cooler in the right place because it's the big thing. Then I put my suitcase in the right place so that I can access my clothing. I hang my suit bag up in the closet. And then I take the toiletry bag into the bathroom and begin the assortment, the arraying of the toiletries in the right order so that everything's within easy reach and I know that I haven't forgot anything. And this is what I call successfully swaying the room. You got to get the right feng shui going in the hotel room. Oh, and crank the air down as far as the thermostat will actually go.
Now, you mentioned razor blades. You mentioned bringing a razor and also having backup blades. How often do you shave when you're on the road?
Well, every day. If people are going to say, well, I mean, not if I'm just driving, but if I'm actually working at an event, then I would shave before going to that event. But no, I don't just shave to drive because I'm not really impressing anybody.
Well, let me ask you this question. You bring up driving that came in. I won't say the full name of the person who sent it. I'll just say.
What's the matter? Are they ashamed?
You never know, but it's sent in from someone named Matt. Hello, I wanted to ask Jim about this when he brought up the burger towel, and now with the talk of piss stops on this week's show, I just need to know if Jim has used a piss cup while driving. I first started doing this when I was drinking beer years ago. I could piss in an empty can and chuck it out the window and keep driving. That takes some good aim. As I am older now and don't drink anymore, I keep an empty large Starbucks cup in my car. I drive for a living and can't stop every time I need to piss. Also, this is great on long trips. I have gone from Boston to Florida several times, only stopping for gas and food at the rest stop. That cuts out many stops and adds miles to your average. Have I missed and pissed on myself? Sure. Have I filled a beer bottle and put it in my cup holder and then taken a sip thinking it was beer? Yes, I have. But overall, I think it's a good system you should look into. And Pilot is the cheapest gas I know of, too, anywhere on 95 once you get in the South. Keep up the good work, guys. Love the shows.
Well, no wonder you withheld his. Let me say that I've never tried in a bottle because that's just that requires an accuracy that I'm not particularly capable of, especially in the cramped confines of a vehicle. But I have tried. I tried a cup one time in downtown St. Louis when for some reason Stacy was driving. And we were headed through saying there was no place to stop, and I'd reached the point where something needed to be done, and I tried the cup, and all I'll say is the prevailing winds were not with me that day, young man, when I tried to get it out of there. But actually it's on the upcoming What Culture Pro Wrestling on the road documentary that they did that's going to be released here somewhere upcoming, as they say. We were stopped in a traffic schmoz, and Kenny McIntosh was up in the front seat in the driver, and I was driving, and he was in the front passenger seat. And I said, "I got to piss." He said, "I did who?" He said, "Do they arrest you if they catch you, like peeing on the side of the road here?" I said, "Look," I said, "we're in 3 lanes of interstate traffic at 9:00 at night. It's dark. We're stopped. It's backed up miles. Kenny, I don't really believe that's going to be their first priority if they did see you." I said, "But here's what I'm going to do." And from years of experience, I just opened the driver's door about a notch, about a foot, and I just popped my fucking shorts down about 6 inches, and just he said I kind of wallered over like a fish. I just like a dolphin on its side. I just wallered over and peed right out the door, and finished peeing and slammed the door and popped my pants right up, and people were none the wiser. And that's my preferred method of doing it.
Well, first of all, I want to commend Matt for sending in this note.
And thank you for so much of confession, Matt, of your many mistakes in perfecting this art.
In one email, he confessed to drinking and driving, pissing on himself, and drinking piss. that man goes into the Cult of Cornette Hall of Fame.
He should be in the wrestling business. He really should.